Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, friends. We're so happy to have you here tonight. It's especially amazing because there's such a confluence of things that are happening tonight. So if you're wondering, who are all these people? Why are they here? Are they interested in what's about to happen? Do they have some minor role here? Or are they major? Well, you're all major, first of all. But secondly, tonight is confirmation. Confirmation being that which is a re-energization, no, I just made up that word. It re-energizes, I don't know if that's, anything. Anyway, so it re-energizes the Jewish young person who is coming into this moment. Maybe the last time they got up on the bima was for their B'nai Mitzvah. Maybe it was a little more recently. Maybe the last time you saw them, they were much shorter because they have grown up to be these young people who now have this really important role in our community and are confirming that tonight. We also are here on the Erev of Erev Shavuot. So tomorrow night begins this holiday, which does get left behind, except if you love cheesecake. And then you remember, oh, Shavuot. This is when we're given the opportunity to reconnect with this gift that is Torah, that keeps on giving. It's a spring harvest holiday, and it makes it possible for us to appreciate that we have a mandate as a people to continuously learn, to push ourselves, much as our confirmation students have done. And finally, I want to mention that it is also, we have the blessing of having just blessed our garden. And I'm looking to our friend Larry Linhart, who doesn't live here, but came up tonight. He and his wife, Sherry, of blessed memory, have a very special place in our hearts here at Temple Israel because they are the people who made sure that every time we had a confirmation class, they would be delighted to have a little nash and some beautiful flowers, which Sherry loves so much. And Larry, it's been so special to have you here today and to dedicate our garden, which we named as the Sherry Linhart Legacy Garden just a few hours ago. We're so delighted. All of this comes together. Here it is, springtime, almost summer. And we just lift up our voices all together, starting with, actually, the parents. We're going to have the parents up here in just a moment, but first, Rabbi
words of Exodus. Now Mount Sinai was all in smoke, for Adonai had come down upon it in fire. Hopefully you see the words on the screen here.
Yes.
Torah, given amidst fire, is compared to fire. Just as fire lives forever, so do the words of Torah live forever. When one draws near to the fire, one is burned by it. When one moves away from fire, one is chilled. On Shavuot, we warm ourselves by the light of Torah, our precious heritage. My part, Shabbat Shalom, and Chag Sameach, everyone.
Chag Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to now invite the parents of our confirmation students to come up and light our Shabbat candles. And we'll help you with the singing of the blessing. But in the meantime, if you are not in that special role, you still can turn to the people around you and wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Would you like to do the honors? Just lighting these two.
Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. We sing the blessing all together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu
Shabbat Shalom. And I just want to say to these parents, you have to tell us your wisdom. How did you make these fine, amazing people who just give us so much joy because they're holding on to that Torah all the time, such bright, fun, amazing people? So come up with that, and I'll ask you at the end of services, and you'll give me the recipe. But Yashar Koach, more power to all of you for the job well done, and Shabbat Shalom. Go have a seat.
Mazel tov. So everyone can have a seat, and while all the parents are seated, I'd like to invite my friend Ilan Bahar to come up to the bima.
Speak right in there.
All right, so I want to start this with a quote from American Rabbi Joseph Telushkin, who once said that the purpose of Jewish existence is to reduce the amount of suffering in the world. To many of you in the audience, this might immediately bring to mind the Jewish pillar of Tikkun Olam, or repairing the world. In my time at confirmation, we've delved deeply into practices and teachings such as these. Not only that, but we've had the opportunity to venture outside the walls of Temple Israel in order to experience the practices and teachings of other faiths. At other houses of worship, I've been able to get a small yet significant understanding about the beliefs of other religions, and through this, insight about my own definition of what it means to be a Jew. More powerfully, I think that this interaction of faiths goes hand in hand with Tikkun Olam. It's my belief that in accepting our differences and using this as a jumping off point in order to try and understand one another, we are taking steps to live in a world that is less divided and is more peaceful. As I go on in my life, I will use what I've learned to always trying to connect with others, both as a Jew and as a citizen of the world.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom, Yashar
Shabbat
Koach.
Shalom.
You can leave it right there. Mazel tov. Yashar Koach.
Friends, we continue with our service as we bring in Shabbat, singing Lacha Dodi. Alecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, mekabelai, yalalai, lecha Dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, mekabelai, yalalai, shamor vezachor, b'dibor echad, ishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, l'shemo tiferet ve'elitila, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekabelai, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekabelai, likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor ha'veracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekabelai, lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekabelai, hitoreri, ki va'oreh kumi ori, 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 shir daberi, kekvod Adonai alaich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kalai,
Please
yalalai,
rise,
yalalai,
and let's
yalalai,
face that
b'nei
door
Shabbat,
and welcome Shabbat.
nekabelai,
Lecha dodi likrat kalai, yalalai, 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 B'nai Shabbat nekabelai. As we bow, we say, Boi v'shalom, Ateret bala, Gam besimcha, ובצולai, תוך אמוני, עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, יאללה, 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 בני שבת נקבלה. Please be seated. It's my pleasure to call Toby Rubin to offer us some words of Torah tonight.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome.
Good evening. Since my bar mitzvah, almost 4 years ago now, I like to think that I've matured and grown a little wiser, at least a bit. According to Jewish tradition, I did become an adult on my bar mitzvah, and the transition from childhood to adulthood comes with more responsibility, more accountability, and more freedom. But for most, adulthood also comes with a changing perspective on life. As I grow older, I appreciate more and more how much opportunity, how much change in the world there is to make, and how little time we have for achievement. This relates to a quote by Rabbi Tarfon. The day is short, and the work is plentiful, and the laborers are indolent, and the reward is great, and the master of the house is insistent. We have a limited amount of time, but there is so much to accomplish, from our individual issues, such as progressing in a career, starting a family, to our big picture issues, such as repairing the environment and achieving greater equality. Life is all about finding balance between the community and the individual. In my life, I too wish to find a balance between service to others and service to myself. Throughout the last few years, I've been increasingly involved in volunteering. I joined the Jewish Community Youth Foundation, where we give grants to different charities. I volunteered through my school in ways such as helping with toiletry drives, making dog toys for dog shelters, and cleaning up local parks. Recently, I've also joined the Wexner Service Corps, a volunteering organization for Jewish teens. These are all little ways of helping our local community, but 1,000 little ways of helping can make a huge difference. While I may not go to shul every Friday night, I do see service as one way of still remaining close to Judaism. Along with service, of course, I'm here today, getting confirmed. During our confirmation classes, we have learned about other religions and more about ourselves. Throughout confirmation, we have also discussed the core values of modern Judaism, values of mitzvah, being instructed by God to help others, and tikkun olam, repairing the world. These values I take to heart because we all want a better world for ourselves and for future generations. The days may be short and the work is plentiful, but for our strive to be kinder to others, the planet, and ourselves, the reward is great. Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Great job. Well done, my friend.
We invite you to rise for the singing of Baruch Hu. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam.
be seated.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים.
It's my pleasure to now invite Marissa Johnson to give us some words of Torah. No, I don't have the paper. Yes, that'll be great. Oh, there it is. Yes, I have the paper. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Temple Israel has been my religious home for as long as I can remember. I've been learning at Temple Israel since preschool, and I've continued my learning at Sunday school. Then, after many years as a student, I became a madracha, and this experience has reshaped me and allowed me to further explore my Jewish identity. Vishinantam lamanacha vidibarta bam. Rabbi Mars has taught me the meaning of these words. You shall teach them diligently to your children. This is referring to how we must teach the commandments to our Jewish children, and these words have taken on a new meaning for me since I became a madracha. As a madracha, I have been given a unique opportunity to teach the students as well as further my learning with them. This has been an impactful experience, and I hope I've been able to help teach the students Jewish values, just like I was once taught by Temple Israel. Furthermore, I've been able to further explore my Jewish identity through being a madracha by getting to interpret the lessons from an older perspective. This year, our lesson on Lashon Hara was particularly impactful. Lashon Hara means evil tongue and refers to speaking badly about a person and causing damage by doing so. I thought I had fully understood what this meant, but our lesson helped me re-examine how I let people speak around me. In the lesson, we learned that Lashon Hara harms three people: the speaker, the one spoken about, and the listener. I was reminded that not only must you speak kindly about others, it is important to speak up when others are talking poorly. This is only one of many ways I've been able to grow as a person and as a Jewish adult from being madracha. It has been a wonderful opportunity I plan to continue next year. And thank you for joining me and my other confirmants as we get confirmed. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Beautiful. Mazel tov. And now I'd like to invite Gabe Aiken to share his words of Torah with us.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I wasn't born Jewish, and I don't look very Jewish. You can look around. But I can honestly say that becoming Jewish and growing up with Jewish values has changed me for the better. It's given me a better outlook on religion itself and on the world around me. I'm never afraid to ask questions or to question anything. Judaism has taught me to wrestle with God, Israel. Through my journey, I question everything. I've even questioned sometimes if God is real. And even though I question all these things, I'm still a Jew. And I think that's one of the greatest parts about being Jewish, is that no matter what you think or how you feel, if you're Jewish, you're Jewish. Being a madrachim, I've gotten to see this same look in the kids' faces and eyes, and that's what I love about it. And that's why I love coming back every weekend to see the kids.
Beautiful.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good job. You rock. Oy, we're shepping nachas for you. You guys know what shepping nachas is, right? Shepping, I think means lapping it up. Nachas is like joy. Ugh, we're just lapping up the joy. And we continue now with the prayer for Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Joining together. Shema Yisrael Adonai.
Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
I'd like to now ask Jack Zimmer to come up and offer us some words.
This time in my Jewish life has got me reflecting on the concept of being grounded. We can all appreciate how important being grounded is. After all, who hasn't experienced, in the wake of COVID, the feeling of groundlessness? We all need to feel our feet firmly anchored to the ground. Judaism helps me do that. And when I think about what being Jewish gives me, I think about my gratitude for my family, friends, and community. I can appreciate things that happen in the world in a different way because I'm Jewish. It shapes my thinking, and it influences the way I see and hear the world around me. It can keep me grounded in the important things, and it can keep me grounded even when life feels like quicksand. For the grounding it gives me, I feel grateful as I grow as a Jew. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, ונאמר כי פתה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, Israel.
Oh, it's so good. How can we let the Torah end? So, Ethan Botkin, where are you, my friend? Your turn. Thank you.
My journey through Judaism has been very different after my bar mitzvah than it was before it. I started at this religious school in 7th grade after my bar mitzvah, and at first it was a weird transition, but the lessons I've learned through being in the Madrachim program at this religious school has improved my life and the people around me. I have been a Madrich at the 6th grade level for the past 3 years, and I am learning right along with the students, allowing me to make the connections I've made with the students I've had over the years. This year, we learned a lot about Jewish values and morals. I want to focus on the value of Hakarat HaTov, which has several different meanings. This can mean to recognize the good, it can mean gratitude, or it can mean the selfless impulse. I can honestly say that since learning about these values, I have tried to apply them in my life to the best of my ability, and I feel as though all Jewish people should practice these values to improve their B'Tselem Elohim by employing these godly traits. I feel like I have improved as a Jewish person since learning all these values and lessons. I would like to thank Rabbi Mars for leading this confirmation process and everyone else who has helped me along my journey into Jewish adulthood. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
You can just leave it right there. Great job. Beautiful. I do need to say that one of the things that makes it so rich to teach the confirmation class is that these young people live through a lot. And usually at this point in our service, I have us reflect just on the world, because we're about to make a prayer for Hashkivenu, asking God to put a shelter of love and support and peace all around us. And I found this little poem, which I just feel depicts a lot of maybe what we're thinking about, and especially when I think of our kids, how much I want them to live in a safe and beautiful and peaceful world. It's by Marin Tirabassi. God, make all of us instruments of your peace. Among those who grieve, let there be sown comfort for the first responders, for those who respond first with gratitude. Where there is fear in the simplest things, buying groceries, going to school, scheduling surgery, will you sow peace and teach us the things that make for peace? Where there is hatred, let us take up its weapons away. Where there are doubting politicians, let us have unwearied voices. And in the sadnesses that seem to have no end, and the anxiety of so many people, let us now sow ongoing understanding. Divine Holy One, grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to end the need for consolations. Grant that we may not so much seek to be loved as to work for love in all ways, strengthened by your love, which has no end. Amen.
Amen. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomereinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomereinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomereinu lechaim. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים
עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני, את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. I'd like to now introduce and invite my friend Josh Bahar. Wait, I'll turn that on for you. That works better.
The practice of welcoming guests, or Hachnasat Orchim, has always been central to Judaism. The first Jew, Abraham, demonstrated this value when, even in great pain, he gets up and enthusiastically greets 3 strangers who appear at his home. He knew nothing about these people, but still treated them with hospitality as if they were his close friends. I, too, got to be on the receiving end of this type of welcoming throughout my experiences during confirmation. In between our discussions about the meaning of our Jewish identities, we visited multiple houses of worship, all of which treated us, people whom they knew very little about, with great kindness. Although I was excited to visit each of these places, before the first few visits, there was also some nervousness mixed in. On each trip, however, this anxiety proved to be unnecessary, and I realized the universality of Hachnasat Orchim, not just in Judaism, but many of the diverse religions of the world. And in being less nervous before each visit, I was able to learn more about each of these different cultures. And supplemented with conversations that buttressed each visit, these experiences helped me further understand what it means to me to be Jewish. These learning experiences, which were enabled by the kind welcoming of others, gave me a deeper understanding of the value of welcoming guests. In addition, I discovered the inverse of Hachnasat Orchim, or the ability to be receptive to welcoming. Oftentimes, it is scary to be around people that are different from us, and allowing oneself to be welcomed into an unfamiliar place requires trust similar to that of Hachnasat Orchim, but offers the benefit of deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. My time during confirmation has inspired me not only to be a more welcoming host, but also to be the guest eager to learn about those who greet me. Being open in this way has allowed me to learn more about others and my own Jewish identity, which I find especially relevant in the country of strangers that we live in. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Yishar Kochachem, the beautiful words of our confirmands still ringing in our ears. We will stand as we're able, friends, for our Amidah. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, u'mevii geula livnei bneihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש, שמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. We continue in silent reflection. Take the time that you want and then be seated. We now take a moment, because it is Shavuot and because it is confirmation, we are going to bring the Torah out and we are going to hear the 10 Commandments. It's traditional to have those read on Shavuot, the Feast of Weeks, and here we are at the end of, it was a mere 49 days ago that we sat and had Seder. This is one good way for me to remember when I had COVID, actually. So 49 days ago, I may have missed Seder this year. But we now come to this, and we're going to ask for some audience participation from our confirmands in the moment. Many of these people, I just want you to know, and thank you, Beth Rosner, for reminding me of this. These kids grew up here. Some of these kids, I'm looking at the Bahar boys, you grew up in this place, preschool, I was told. Then there's some that came a little bit later on. Toby and Ethan, we're so happy. And then Marissa, I don't know, just forever, right? Gabe, kind of forever. Yeah. Jack, you've come back. We're just so happy to have these people here. And it goes to show you that your long journey being Jewish can be meandering, and yet you land at home. You know, you always have a home with this people and with this Torah that we're going to bring out now. So, without further ado,
please rise.
Please rise.
Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, ki mitzion tetzeh Torah, udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael,
repeat after Rabbi Sam.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlul Adonai iti, uneromamav Shemo yachdav.
Lai, 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 lai,
We're going to ask you to stay standing as you are able, friends, because when we read this auspicious moment in the Torah, actually, it's quite something because you can actually see in the Torah, we have to stop here. It's written in such a way that it says pause. There's big white spaces here that say something very special is happening. So without further ado, we're going to call up our confirmands. You know what? I can actually do it because I have this. Ya'amdu Ilan ben Mordechai v'Bela, ve'et Yoshua ben Mordechai v'Bela, ve'et Yaakov Yitzchak ben Yoshua v'Rachav Leah, ve'et Tovi how do you say this? I'm so sorry. Yachiel ben Shlomo v'Keren, ve'et Maya bat Mira v'Philip, ve'et Tzvi Yisrael ben Shimon v'Rachel, L'Aliyah harishona, I forgot, ve'et Gavriel ben Nehemiah u'Devora, La'alot LaTorah.
Come and touch the Torah and give it a kiss.
Hold that for them. Thank you.
Yep, right there. All right. Ready, guys?
Chad, shtayim, shalosh.
Baruch
Baruch Adonai Amvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Amen.
Amen. Vayedaber Elohim et kol hadvarim ha'ele lemor Anochi Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim bibeit avadim lo yeh lecha Elohim acherim al panai lo ta'aseh lecha fesel v'chol tmuna asher bashamayim mima'al ve'asher ba'aretz mitachat ואשר במים מתחת לארץ לא תשתחווה להם ולא תעבדם כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אלקנה פוקד עוון אבות על בנים, על שלישים וערביים, לשונאי, ועושה חסד לאלפים, לא הווי, ולשומרי מצוותיי, לא תישא את שם אדוני לשווא, כי לא ינקה אדוני את אשר יישא את שמו לשווא.
זכור את יום השבת לקדשו, 6 ימים תעבוד, ועשית כל מלאכתך, ביום השביעי שבת לאדוני אלוהיך, לא תעשה כל מלאכה, אתה ובנך וביתך, עבדך ואמתך ובהמתך, וגרך אשר בשעריך, כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, את הים ואת כל אשר בם, וינח ביום השביעי. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו.
כבד את אביך ואת אמך, למען יארכון ימיך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך. לא תרצח, לא תנאף, לא תגנוב, לא תענה ברעך עד שקר, לא תחמוד בית רעך, לא תחמוד אשת רעך ועבדו ואמתו ושורו וחמורו וכל אשר לרעך.
Baruch
אתה אדוני
Amen.
Yasher koach, friends. See, you never lose it.
You can
Stay here, friends, though. We're going to make a blessing for those who are ill. And the simple line that comes straight from the Torah itself, and you actually can be seated for a second. Have a seat, not you, because you're young and vivacious. But we have this one line that comes, El na rafat na la. Please, God, please heal. You're the healer. So I'd like to ask anybody who would like to offer up the name of somebody. It could even be you. If you want to say the name of the person for whom you're wishing healing, please do so now. They should all receive total and speedy healing. Now please rise. Ready? Here we go. וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. תורה, 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 תורה ציווה לנו משה. תורה, 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 תורה ציווה לנו משה. תורה, 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 תורה ציווה לנו משה. תורה, תורה, Torah, Torah, Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Torah tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Torah tziva lanu Moshe.
We remain standing as we return the Torah to the ark.
Etz Chaim hi lamachzikim ba v'tomchea me'oshar derechea Please be seated. Hang on. Where are we?
Yeah, the certificates.
Okay. So, friends, spread out over here. There might be another photo involved. I'm not sure. But you never know. We have something that we want to give you. It happens to be a little certificate noting this day, and signed by all three of your clergy. It basically says, we're so proud of you. Thank you for doing Jewish and figuring out ways to continue to be Jewish. And I want to say one thing. I came across a beautiful bit of Torah that I just have to share with you if I can find my notes. I don't know. There we go. So it says, and I was thinking of you, it says that when we came to Bamidbar, which is the Torah portion this week, it means in the wilderness. And I want you to think for just a second about those times that you might just have felt a little bit in the last few years as if you yourself, yes, were kind of in the wilderness. Not a great feeling to be there because it's a lonely place when you have to do all of your classes on Zoom, or when you have to figure out ways to be creative to see friends and your parents are saying, please don't go see friends, right? Or when you're just feeling this kind of, for maybe the first time in your life, this existential sort of weightiness of the world. Well, amazingly, you decided to join up with this. And I believe that not all of you knew exactly what that meant. Am I right? You know, like you may have known, yeah, there was a ceremony at the end, and I do get a great, fabulous trip to New York, which we're taking next week together, which we are very psyched about. But the Midbar is a very lonely place. That place in the wilderness. And I came across this, and this is borrowed from the Talmud, which says, one who makes oneself like a desert gains the insight that a person cannot merit Torah without first becoming ownerless, hefker, like the desert. You have to become ownerless. And then a beautiful midrash comes, one of my teachers, Rabbi Aaron Leib-Smokler, who's an Orthodox Jewish rabbi, one of the first women Orthodox rabbis to be, she writes, what does it mean to be hefker? What does it mean that you have to become ownerless like the desert? And she says this, it means being the very opposite of tidy order. It is ownerless, wilderness, unruliness. It is radical openness, uncontrolled and untamed. It is total vulnerability, exposed and raw. Being in the desert with its vast expanses, blazing sun, magnificent quiet, scant water, and timeless landscapes generates all of these experiences. In the midst of unending sands, one can feel one's smallness bump up against the grandeur of eternity. Think about the last time you went camping and you felt like, oh my God, I'm suddenly so small. There's so much more than me that makes up this world. In that space, one can become uncannily receptive. One might begin to hear the voice of God. So render yourself hefker, says the Midrash. Be ownerless in order to receive Torah. Open yourself widely. Detach yourself from those things that tether you and tame you. Give yourself over to the wilderness, for you just might then find yourself back at Sinai. The path to order is paved through disorder. And what I want to say about that is just, I pray that your path ahead is so sweet and so calm. And yes, some of you are even going into college, so I can't promise that it's going to be stress-free, but what I hope that the disorder that has been reaped through these difficult years of being in high school and being in COVID and being in a world that seems sometimes uncertain, that this bond that you share being here tonight, this bond that you share in being Jewish, that is lasting. That this bond where you have, this crazy rabbi that just wants to be friends with you so bad because I just think you're cool and you're so smart. You just have wisdom that I think is so beyond your years that I just hope that any of the disorder that happens, it's just a straight path, this derech shalom. I just want you to have a straight path of peace. And when it's not that way, think back to tonight and then call each other and definitely text your very wacky rabbi, okay? So we're going to give you, we have some beautiful Tanachim. You have a brand new Tanakh, which has your name even engraved on it. So I'm going to give you them now. Actually, we'll go by what you hand out there. Rabbi Sam, would you call them out?
Okay.
And I'll give the corresponding.
Gabe Bacon.
Gabe Bacon. Mazel tov. Yeah, you can go sit down. Mazel tov.
Ethan Botkin.
Yay. You're welcome.
Lan Bahar. Marissa Johnson. I'm still going. Okay. Jack Zimmer. Joshua Bahar.
Josh.
And Toby Rubin.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov, my friend. Take this.
Michael, there you go.
Oh, and now we'd like to ask your parents and you to stand. So right where you're standing, right where you are, just stand up right there because we'd like to give you a blessing now that parents give their children on Friday nights, that parents give their children sometimes on the holidays, and that they're always thinking, even though you're too fast for them and you're just racing out the door, and they just want to give you a little tiny blessing, and it goes like this. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. You can put your hands on their kepi if you want. May God bless you and keep you.
May God's light always shine upon you and fill your life with only blessings.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find and know peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Now you hug it out. Wish each other a mazel tov. Mazel tov, friends.
We all rise together for the conclusion of our service with our Aleinu prayer. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim
ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Please be seated.
Friends, we think of those who are dear to our hearts, beloved ones who we no longer have embodied in this life, but we still have their memory to live by, to hold tight. We remember as a congregation, Sheila Hecker, and for Gordon, who's observing the first week of mourning. We also remember Naomi Rosenberg, Vernie Yavich, both of which we are observing the first 30 days of mourning. If you are observing Shiva or Shloshim, I invite you to please rise now and share that name with us. First week or first 30 days of mourning. Please. We also are thinking of those in the first year of mourning. Please rise now if you are observing the first year, 11 months. And we also remember now the Yortzites, the anniversaries of those who have passed. If I read this name, please stand when your loved one's name is read aloud. Ruth Barkin, David Brandt, Ruth Bruck, Shirley Cantor, Jerome Cohen, Norman S. Cohen, Paul Kahn, Brenda Gail Culp, Gary Darwin, George O'Fillinger, Lillian Freidenberg, A. Murray Gaffin, Frank A. Glick, Lottie Heltzer, Sol Morton Isaac, Richard Gerald, John H. Kelter, Betty Capson, Isidore Klein, Mildred Landsman, Morris Lehrer, Eileen Levison, William Nathan Mendel, Phyllis Rakoff, Martin Seaman, Theodore H. Schmidt, Erwin Schrager, Violet Schinbach, Alfred Segal, Leon M. Silverman, Albert Z. Sutton, Gerald Tenenbaum, Celia Wolnitz. If you are also observing a Yortzeit or an anniversary of death, or if you're remembering someone on this day that you lost, please rise now. You look at the mourners in our midst, as we say, Zichronam Livracha, may all of those we have lost, may their memories be for a blessing. We stand now as one congregation in solidarity with the mourners and those who we don't have any say Kaddish for them, as we read the mourners Kaddish together on the slides. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'alma divrach chirtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, b'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach leolam u'l'olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Vitadar, vitale, vitalal, shmei dekudsha berichu. Me'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran bi'oma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael.
Amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to all the world. Let's say Amen. Amen. You may take a seat.
Coming up next in our program is Jewish meditation tomorrow morning, along
We
with
have a bar mitzvah,
mitzvah. Hudson Schulman is having his bar mitzvah, so when you see him, wish him a mazel tov. We also have Musar this coming Sunday morning at 10 a.m. And
Before that,
the whole night before, the way that Jews celebrate is by staying up all night and eating cheesecake, so join us. And we also learn Torah. We're going to be joining with our friends at Agudas Achim and Tiferet Israel. The three congregations are coming together for a night of learning. And it should be fun because nobody knows what anybody else is teaching. It's a surprise. But it'll be great, great stuff. So please come to that. The next day, Sunday, June 5th at 10 a.m., we will remember those who have died with Yizkor. So particularly if you've lost somebody more recently, we invite you to come, but certainly anybody that you have lost ever, we remember them at Yizkor. And finally, we will be closed on Monday. And I believe that is it. Now we're just
Mars,
ready
if I may, quickly.
Yes, please.
I have to interject. I'm so sorry. So I don't know if I introduced myself yet. Rabbi Educator Sam Klein. And the reason why I'm introducing myself is because I hope that you were listening carefully as I was to these amazing confirmands' speech tonight, because they reference all sorts of things. They reference their time in confirmation, visiting houses of worship. They also mentioned some other programs that we do, including the Madrichim program, which is our teen assistants that come every Sunday morning and make our religious school, grades pre-K through 7th grade, possible. They're incredible teens. And so the reason why I'm saying this out loud is because I know in this room are many families with teens or no families with teens, and I encourage you, we are now fully on in person, and we've got those programs I've just mentioned, in addition to many more. We're going hiking outdoors, we're gonna bring tzedakah and chesed back, philanthropy classes, and many more intensive experiences.
Whitewater rafting. There's whitewater rafting.
Whitewater rafting is coming out, absolutely. So, right there. So, friends, stay tuned. We're nearly at board approval for next year's registration, and I'm so excited for the year to come. Thank you.
to that I say we better make a l'chaim.
Make a l'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat.
L'chaim.
Chaim. Chalot? Are there some chalot?
Chalot. I was told by Paula Weinstein, who makes sure that we get these baked every week, that there was a batch that we're not giving you that tastes like hockey pucks because the yeast was not refrigerated. So we could use them as doorstops. So if you see them around the building. So, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Let's invite our confirmands back up here.
And we sing
Simen tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov. You want some? Simen tov u'mazel tov, u'mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov u'simen tov. Yehelanu, 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 olecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, olecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, olecho Yisrael. Mazel tov. Beautiful words, you guys.
You too.
Beautiful. Mazel tov. All right, you friends.